All right, folks, let's talk about student loans. Those magical bundles of money that help you afford college but then follow you around like a shadow for the next decade, or two, or three. But hey, at least you got an education, right? We'll get to that. So, where did this whole student loan thing even come from? Believe it or not, it wasn't invented by some evil bank CEO twirling his mustache. The first ever student loan program in the US started back in 1840 at Harvard. Yep, Harvard. Even back then, they were all about making sure everyone could afford their hefty tuition. Fast forward to today, and the student loan situation is a lot different. We're talking trillions of dollars in debt, affecting millions of Americans. Now let's break down the two main types of student loans, public and private. It's the government versus the private banker. Both are just trying to finance your degree in philosophy. In one corner, we have public loans, backed by the government. They're generally considered the better option because they usually have lower interest rates and offer more flexible repayment options. Think of them as the reliable friend who always spots you a few bucks when you're short on cash. And in the other corner, we have private loans, offered by banks and other financial institutions. These guys can be a little trickier. They often come with higher interest rates and fewer repayment options. They're like that friend who loans you money, but then reminds you about it every time you see them. Okay, so you've graduated, you've tossed your cap in the air, and now that giant loan payment is staring you in the face like a grumpy landlord. Don't panic. There are ways to tackle your student loan debt and come out on top. First up, make sure you understand your loan terms. What's the interest rate? When do you have to start making payments? Are there any options for deferment or forbearance if you hit a rough patch? Knowledge is power, people. Next, create a budget and stick to it. I know, budgeting is about as fun as watching paint dry. But trust me, it's crucial for managing your debt. Figure out how much you can realistically afford to pay each month and make those payments on time. Another pro tip: explore different repayment plans. There are options like income-driven repayment, which adjusts your monthly payments based on your income. It's like having a personal loan assistant who understands that sometimes life throws you curveballs. Listen, I get it. Thinking about student loans can feel like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But remember, these loans are an investment in your future. And like any good investor, you need a plan. Once you've got a handle on your student loan repayment, it's time to start thinking about your other financial goals. Want to buy a house? Start a business? Retire early? These are all achievable goals, but you need to plan for them. Start by building an emergency fund. This is your safety net for unexpected expenses. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. And don't forget about retirement. Take advantage of employer-sponsored retirement plans, especially if they offer matching contributions. It's free money. Now I know what you're thinking. This is America. We're the only ones crazy enough to have this much student loan debt. Well, my friends, I hate to break it to you, but we're not alone. Student loan debt is a global issue. In the UK, for example, tuition fees have skyrocketed in recent years, leaving many students with significant debt. And in countries like Australia and Canada, while tuition fees are generally lower than in the US, students still face the burden of debt after graduation. But here's the kicker. In many European countries like Germany, Sweden, and Denmark, higher education is either free or very affordable for both domestic and international students. That's right, free college. They see education as an investment in the future of their country, not just a personal expense. So what does the future hold for student loans? That's the million-dollar question, folks, and unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball. But there are definitely some conversations happening about how to make education more affordable. Some folks are pushing for tuition-free college, while others are advocating for increased government funding for education. There's also a growing movement towards alternative education models, like online learning and apprenticeships. The bottom line is, the cost of education is a complex issue with no easy solutions. But by being informed, advocating for change, and exploring all our options, we can work towards a future where everyone has the opportunity to pursue their education without being saddled with crippling debt. All right, that's our show for today. Don't forget to subscribe. Catch you next time.